Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good.
So, thank you for being here. We're gonna run a session on a very basic meditation through our style, and we're gonna look at fundamentally how breathing affects the way we meditate. But more than that, how do we begin to look at the meditations that has to do with the organ of smell, the nose? So we do our breathing through our nose, we do our smelling through our nose, and the sense of smell is one of the 25 traditional gates of attaining enlightenment. And breathing is also another one of the 25 gates of attaining enlightenment. The nose itself is actually also another access. So they're all very, very wonderful stuff. And because we constantly are breathing, just like we are constantly listening, and just like we're constantly seeing, these are things which are consistent to us. The good part about that is that we can always access it. The not so good part about that is that we end up often taking it for granted, which is why we tend to miss the point. So today, we're going to focus on a basic meditation technique on the breathing, and we're going to just simply look at the way we breathe and focus and let that carry us into the states of meditation. So one of the advantages that we have in our technique is that by doing the quantum Zazen style, we often bypass the monkey mind situation. Have you noticed? So when you do the technique here, there is a lot of restlessness in the mind that takes a long time to settle. So this is one of the advantages. So sometimes I think there are ways around some of these challenges that a lot of people have. So what we want to do essentially is to go through the basics. So for those of you who are relatively new, I will give a sense of what quantum Zazen is about. So it began when I was taught different kinds of meditation from different schools, and as much as I love tradition and I love the effectiveness and I love the stories that they have, I also wanted something that was a little bit more modern for our taste. Was there a way to not follow the tradition blindly, but to question that and instead discover what principles are there that we can use, that we can adapt while keeping the original objectives of meditation in mind? So you're going to often hear me talk about the 25 gates of samadhi because they are the doors of perception. And at the same time, what if 25 was not all of it? What if there was more? What if there were different ways to access that? What if, due to the history of time, the passage of time and history, many of these techniques that were once there are no longer around? So the only way you can rediscover them is by discovering what principles make them work and figuring out what was it that went missing. So to that degree, I've managed to find out or discover or experimented and found some techniques to be very, very useful for the meditation that speeds up the process, which is really what we're trying to do. So, and of course, in meditation, it's really about having a certain sense of serenity, tranquility, and peace, such that we're able to approach the world in a very calm and maybe even joyful manner. And it does speak to us about how we have to cultivate ourselves as good people. And I don't mean good as in a moral kind of good, but good because you're able to approach the world in a very light way, in a very compassionate way, in a very understanding way, as opposed to isolating ourselves and being very separated from people, because one of the goals of meditation really is to attain a certain level of transcendence. So it's good to have a normal practice regularly because it allows you to throw off all the things that have been accumulating from time to time and reset yourself in a very calm way. So, and as much as I encourage the daily practice, sometimes it's good to get together in a group and we can meditate together. And when we sit together and we do our Zazen together, we're able to tap into each other's energies and achieve a deeper state of meditation. So, the origins of Zazen, of course, has to do with the singular realization that came to Kashyapa when Buddha was dying, at least according to the story. So, just briefly, the story was that Buddha was dying, and at first he wanted it to be very quiet, but people heard about it and they all came. So according to the sutras, what happened was that he was asked, so who will inherit your bowl and your robe? who will become your successor. And the Buddha had no intention of creating a successor, but upon that question, he realized that the world wasn't ready for him to not have a successor. So as a result, he said, oh, let's write up. So at that point, he raised up a lotus flower that was next to him and put it into the air. And the crowd of all his, the people who respected him and who learned his methods was going on. And he just paused there and waited until his first student, his first disciple, one of the original 5 bhikkhus that went out with him, realized it, and then he went, oh, I get it. And then he started smiling. And then the Buddha noticed that he got it. Then he says, okay, I found my successor. Here you go. Here's the bowl and the rope. And then with that, he asked, are there any more questions? And he asked it 3 times, and then after that, he went on. So that was that. So then the other bhikkhus looked at the first guy and said, so what was that? And nobody understood. So what then that became was the instant realization. And that is what the entire Chan school, the Zen school, the Zazen schools are based on. That there is a possibility that after you do all the work necessary, you can attain your samadhi in a single instant. And that was what it was. So that was the legend behind that. So this is what we're trying to do. So as a result of that kind of focus, a lot of techniques was developed to directly access the space of samadhi, and which is why the 25 doors came up. So the different teachers, different masters evolved different techniques, and they became capable of reaching the samadhi through their experience. And so that's how that came up as a story. So we're going to go to the most basic of all the 25 to start with, and that is the organ, the sense of nose, the nose, and which is really focusing on the breathing itself. So there are 2 things to do down here. One, we're going to go through the traditional Zazen framework, where we're just going to do our counting and get that to happen, and then we'll layer the smell or the breathing on top of that first. So this is how it's going to work. So in Zazen, there are 5 key things to look up for. So the first one is, of course, your legs and how you sit. So the key here that I'm going to emphasize upon is that however you hold your posture, it is about being able to hold it in such a way that you can stay awake and you can forget about your body. You stay awake and you forget about your body disappears and only your mind stays there. So that your body falls away and you become pure consciousness. So to that degree, we're trying to make the body as comfortable as possible, because you might be sitting there for hours, and if you're extreme for days, if you're very extreme for months, if you're very, very extreme for years, if you're very, 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 very extreme for years in a cave. Okay, but that's really advanced level. So let's not jump ahead of ourselves, but let's start with the basics. So you want to sit down. The cross-legged positions are the key. You're not required to do the lotus or the full lotus. They are more for advanced level positions, so don't worry about that. Then the next thing really is the hands. The hands, where you place them, will indicate certain things. So traditionally, the left stands for fire, because it's near the heart, and the right stands for water. So if you put a pot of water on top of a fire, you focus the energy to boil the water. So if you have the right hand on top of the left hand and you place it like that, this is the hand gesture for concentration. As opposed to this is the fire, this is the water, and you put the fire on top of the water, of which there is no work to be done. So it is the position for flow. So that's where the difference is. So if you understand this, then you can use these things to help you. The other 2 possibilities are to put your hands upwards on your palm, on your thighs, to raise it upwards. This is usually when we're trying to explore something external to us. And then there's also putting our hands down, and this is when we're trying to explore things internal to us. So flow, concentration, flow, external, internal. So, but it doesn't necessarily work for this like everybody, I say traditionally, but you should find your own, put your hand positions and notice what effect it has on your meditation. So do experiment, and it's good to discover these things for yourself. I'm not going to teach you stuff like that, okay? So that's different stuff. Cycle of the universe, cycle of life. So they're different mudras or different things. So that's the hands. So the next thing is probably the most important part of it, which is your butt. Okay, and this is about the way you sit. So you have to sit in such a way that your butt is sitting up, which is why we have meditation cushions or towels if you don't have one. And you raise your seat a little bit higher. One, it makes the legs more comfortable, so it can last longer. And the second is to be able to create the curvature of the spine. So your spine ends up being curved. So just to give an example, when I sit here, I'm going to curve my spine. So sometimes we begin by bending down and then stretching ourselves and then curving our body up. So what I'm doing, literally, I am sitting and positioning the upper half of my body, my torso, on top of my diaphragm. Okay, so this allows me to sit over, I'm sitting over the center of my body. This puts a weight down there, and when you relax, it just stacks, it sits in there. So the curvature of the spine becomes important. So a lot of people, they meditate like this, that is actually the wrong posture. This doesn't allow you to hold the body for a long time. When you curve your spine and you sit like that, the body weight goes into that place. It actually hits an autonomic nerve that sends a signal to your limbic brain that keeps you awake. So this is all scientific stuff. So they actually, in Japan, they spend a lot of money and time researching how Zen masters do what they do because it's part of their culture. So this is what it comes down to. So it's about leaning in such a way so that it sits on that, so that it keeps you staying awake throughout your meditation. And because this position is quite balanced, it allows your body to disappear. And when it disappears, you just float into consciousness, in that sense. And then you got to do your work there then. So that's the third point. The fourth is your head. Okay? So your head is, you are looking approximately 2 meters ahead of you, down on the floor. Okay? And then you're doing a half gaze. If you're doing internal meditation, closing your eyes is not a problem. Okay? But if you're doing developmental meditation, then we normally keep our eyes half closed. So of course you want to develop a lot of capabilities. Then we're exploring different things. Then it's good to meditate in the dark room. Then you can keep your eyes open, and yet still have the same effect as if you have your eyes closed. So, all right. So internal. So for our practice purposes, we're going to close our eyes. Close our eyes is a very basic technique, so it's relatively easy to do. So the last point is your breathing. So your breathing comes from your diaphragm. So we're not doing lung breathing. Okay, I don't do lung breathing, so I can't remember. Okay. So if you're doing diaphragm breathing, I'm going to give an example. Okay. So for me, my example is a bit more prominent because of my girth. So see what my stomach does. When you breathe in, you literally push your stomach out, or rather you pull it out, and the air gets drawn into your lungs. This is abdominal breathing. So it goes like this. You don't have to make it so obvious. This is just an example. Okay? And don't think that I breathe like that all the time. This is just an example. I do breathe from my diaphragm most of the time. That's my normal way of breathing. So together we just combine that, and this is how the meditation works. All right. So before we proceed, any questions? Okay. So we're going to begin the first meditation, and what we're going to do is we're going to put your hands whichever position you like. I'm not too concerned about this because that's not what our focus is. But because we're looking at breathing, it is both in and it's out. So The breathing is flowing, it works. The breathing is concentrating, it works. The breathing is external, it works. The breathing is internal, it also works. The breathing is external and internal, it also works. So, any of the 4 mudras are perfectly fine. Sometimes I'm going to say don't do this instead. Sometimes, but basically these 4 are usually quite universal, so it's very good basics. Alright, so the way we're going to do it is we're going to count our breaths, and we're going to count our out breaths out loud. Counting out loud allows us an advantage in that we are able to use the vibrations from our voice to create a relaxation effect for the muscles in our chest. Okay, so when we count out, we're literally vibrating our chest just to cause that effect. So this has the advantage of getting us to relax, loosening ourselves. And this is part of the reason why we're able to bypass the monkey mind, because we're literally, making ourselves relax past the point of the disturbance. Okay. So it begins like this. So we're going to take a deep breath through the diaphragm. Make sure your posture is correct. Your seat is there. And that essentially is what we do. So we count out, we use our voice, we vibrate, and we take the opportunity to seek out any tensions that's in our body and just allow ourselves to relax. Okay. Then you count 2, what comes after 1 is 2, and then you count all the way to 10. And each stage, you just relax as much as you can, relax more, relax more, relax more. So, since we're at the beginning practice, what's also useful most of the time is after we do the first 10, we also do another 10. And after that, we also do another 10. So that means you do 3 sets of 10 counts in a row. This often allows us to relax deeply and allows us to slip into the meditative sleep quite easily. Okay. And then from there, we'll begin the breathing focus. So I'll give you instructions as we go along. All right. So let's do the first set of 10. Okay. Good. Ready when you are, please begin. Deep breath. 1. 9. eyes closed. Notice where your body is holding up some stress. Like for me, I often hold my stress around my shoulders and my neck. So I'm deliberately relaxing those, loosening up those. Feel free to check around your entire body, where your tensions are. Check that your feet are relaxed. Check that your hips are relaxed. Check that your spine is in the right place and is relaxed. Check your hands and arms and make sure that they are relaxed. Check your neck and your throat. Make sure they are relaxed. Check your jaw and your face. Make sure they are relaxed. Check your lower abdomen, your lower body, and all the organs there. Your stomach, your liver, your spleen, your intestines. Check that that's relaxed. Then your upper body, your lungs, your heart. Make sure that's relaxed. Check your scalp, your hair, your skin, that there's no tension there. And finally your spine, all the way down to your tail, and make sure that's relaxed. Let's do another set of 10 counts to allow the body to deepen its relaxation even more. And you don't have to follow my pace, you can do it at your own time. So let's begin. And allow yourself to relax. At this stage, your state should be slightly deeper than the one you had before. So again, check your feet and your legs and see if any of that is uncomfortable or tensed. Check your hips and your pelvis and all the stuff in that area to see that they are relaxed. Check the lower half of your body to make sure that you're also relaxed inside. Check the upper body, where your lungs and your heart are, and see whether that's also relaxed. Check your hands, your fingers, your wrists, your forearms, your elbows, upper arms. Make sure they are relaxed. Check your shoulders and your neck and your throat, and see whether all that is also relaxed.
Okay.
Allow yourself to flow deeper into your state. And because it's the first meditation of the day, let's deepen it some more so we have a great start. So we're going to count a third set of 10. So as you count the third set of 10, remember to check your body for different spots of tension and allow yourself to relax. Relax your lower half of the body. 3. Relax your organs. 4. Relax your arms and your chest. 5. Relax your neck and your shoulders. 7. Relax your face. 8. Relax your whole body. 9. And relax your body even deeper. 10. And this is where you should be feeling deeply relaxed, breathing gently, and being present to your body as it stays in those positions. So for this meditation, I'm going to focus on the breathing. So the place of focus is going to be at your nostrils. And what I'd like you to focus on is the air coming in through your nostrils and how it feels as a sensation coming in. So focus on the air coming in as you take a deep breath. Pay attention to its temperature. Pay attention to its force. Pay attention to its movements inside your nose. Pay attention to where it reaches. Allow yourself to notice only the in-breath coming in through your nostrils. And as you breathe in, notice where the energy from the air goes. On the out breath, I'd like you to relax as you notice it coming out of you. Just relax. Observe it coming in. Relax it going out. Observe it coming in. Relax it going out. Keep going and continue this practice. Use it to observe and relax. And after a while, I will call you back to complete this meditation. Keep inhaling and exhaling.